Alright, hello and welcome to today's episode of whatever this is called. I don't think we've actually got a name for it. Systemio.dev. My name is Tom Rolley and I have some good news. So first of all, coming from the car, if you're watching this on the video, you'll be like, oh right, you're in the car. Yep, it's been an interesting day, and the good news is that Cozzy is our dog and our dog's leg is repaired. So if you're following along from yesterday's episode, you'll know that my wife unfortunately ran over her leg and broke the bones. So the bone, when they went in and operated, said that the end of the femur, the back leg, basically had split into three. So there's a long bit that should be there, and then the bottom of that bone had split in half. Now, they basically said to us that if we did not do that operation, then she would either have a gammy leg forever, or she would be at high risk of amputation, early amputation. And my original response was, look, don't fix it. The reasoning being that these blue heelers, of which Cozzy is, are just notorious for hunting car tires. A relatively high risk and dangerous experience, but very hard to train them out of it. I presume it can be done, and I will be doing it by an electric fence. The electric fence, having put in $3,700 into this repair so far, whoop, almost lost you guys there, that I'm not keen for it to happen again. And as we discussed in yesterday's podcast, the problem of not having pet insurance, not having a electric fence, was spoken of by my son. Like, he's like, dude, be careful, the dog keeps chasing after the cars, don't run after the dog. And if I had taken those actions before Thursday, then I wouldn't have to have paid this vet's bill. However, didn't do that, so I've got to do that. What is interesting to me about this is that this was one of the experiences in life where an action had to be taken in order to repair the leg. Like, that surgery needed to be done, because if that structure of the bone, the structure of the leg, does not go back together, then it will not work. And this comes to a principle that at System.io I refer to as structure determines function. Now, this is not my idea. This came out of a book by Robert Fritz called The Path of Least Resistance. But the idea is that the way something is structured determines how it functions. And this is critical not only in Cozzy's leg, but also in a car, in an aeroplane, in a business. But the interesting thing about a business is that you can get away with a lot of poor structure. That it may still work okay most of the time with relatively poor structure. But every now and then something will go wrong and there will be variable results, there will be a poor outcome. Versus if the structure is tight and the structure is on point and the structure is managed, then you will have an excellent business. One that potentially you can either sell at a high valuation or you can walk away from and continue to have it work, because the structure is defined. And in a business, this structure that I speak about is its procedures. If the procedures are not written down, then the structure is weak. If the procedures are variable, the structures are weak. And I'm not talking about decision making. You know, if A, then this, if B, then that. That, if it's written down, is still a robust structure. But if that is not written down, then it is weak. And the business eventually will be exposed as not working as well as it could be. That it is not as effective or as efficient as it could be. And so the interesting thing is that you can get away with this in smaller businesses by management, by team meetings, by a smaller number of people that know everybody in the business and know what's happening that week and know what the objective is. But as a business succeeds and grows and the number of people goes past that 5 or 6 or 7 people, then the shenanigans begin and the structure is exposed at that point as being weak. Now, this can be very difficult. This can be extremely stressful for a business that's actually doing very well. And as they continue to grow, they assume that what worked at 5, 6, or 7 will work at 20 or work at 40 people, but it does not, because the structure has been exposed to be just like that bone in my dog's leg, that it is split apart. And yes, it works just fine as long as there's walking around at a slow pace. But if the requirement is to run and run fast and hunt and get the stick or get the chicken or get whatever the work is, or even catch the ball, that as that extra strain, the leg will not hold up and that business will experience problems. So getting these systems and processes must be done for a business that hits a certain level. But the crazy thing to me is that businesses that are smaller than that can still do far more with great structure in place. You need less people to do more. The ultimate definition of leverage can be achieved by getting this on point early. And that means that as you go through the growth phase and you start to hit success, that you can continue. You've actually got a second and a third and a fourth gear, to swap to a different metaphor in a car. That there's actually a fifth gear and those gearbox works. You're not just operating in first, trying to rev the engine as hard as it'll go because your second gear isn't there or your gearbox doesn't work. So have a look at where you're at the moment in your business. Where are you at with this systems and processes thing? Like, how much documentation is down and how much are your team using it? You need both those things. You need not only the documentation, but you actually need your team to bought in fully that this is what is required in order to have a business that will succeed. All right, if you need help with that, then head over to systemio.dev, pop in your name, pop in your email address, go grab the training there, watch that. And if that is a training that resonates with you and you're like, you know what, I need to get this on point, then you can accelerate this journey greatly by meeting with me. We'll have a discussion, a consultation. Hey, where are you at? Where do you want to go? How long until you exit? What does your exit look like? And make a decision on what is required in order to get you there. All right, that's all I got for you today. I hope you're having an awesome day. My dog Cozzy is in a good way. Thank goodness for vets. Thank goodness they have skill sets for years in training to perfect the art of repairing run-over dogs. I am very grateful for their expertise. Thanks for tuning in today. Look forward to seeing you on tomorrow's episode as we continue this exploration of systems and processes and their power in business. See you then.